Are you a small business trying to grow your revenue with advertising? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what is the most effective way to spend your money.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends that won't be ya. Been bottom, but it's looking like they took a time out. Okay, I'm working on a Wednesday, then up again the next day. So-and-so is popping, man. I skip him like he leg day.
So you're a small business trying to do advertising and figure out what is the most cost-effective way for you to do it. Because depending on the size of your business, that's going to dictate how much money you have to play with. And if you're very small or just getting started, every dollar counts. You have to first look at where is the attention of the people and how much money are you willing to spend to get that attention. The best advertising you're going to have is a pay-per-click campaign. Now, where you go with that pay-per-click campaign, it's going to be basically 2 options, either going on Google with search or going on social. With social, you really break it down to LinkedIn for heavy for B2B, or Facebook/Instagram, which is B2B or B2C. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what is the amount of dollars that you're willing to spend to get that customer, which is your CAC or CAC, which is client acquisition costs. So if your product or service is $10,000, $100,000, $5,000, you're going to be willing to spend more money to get that client, versus if you have a $99 a month program, or it's a service where you're going to come and clean gutters or something like that, and it's a one-time $50 thing, or you're going to be doing grass cutting or services like that, then you're going to want to spend less money. So when we look at that first, is what is your service worth and how much is your product cost? You can't just, there's nothing I can say to say, you know, it's $2,000 a month service and up, you go here, or $2,000 below, you go there. You have to kind of think about this from your own standpoint of how much profit do you have in your cost, how much money are you willing to spend. But from a general standpoint, if we just look at the main platforms, let's start with Google. Google search, the biggest issue with Google search that you're gonna have a problem with is understanding the intent behind why somebody is searching. So that's just, overall, it doesn't matter what type of industry product you have, you don't know the reason why somebody's searching. They may search something with the intent to buy, they may search something because they're a competition, they may search it because they're just doing research, or they may search it because they're trying to find a list of companies to then spam you with, which happens all the time. So you got to be a little bit careful with setting up your Google AdWords campaigns to be as strategic and specific as possible, and focus on getting the highest number of click-through rate with the lowest bounce rate. Because when you look at Google campaigns, the bounce rate is going to be number one. If your bounce rate is 90% and above, or 85% and above, it's not optimized, and you need to make changes. You're bringing in the wrong type of traffic, again, because you don't know the intent behind why somebody's searching. So regardless if you're B2C or B2B, Google AdWords is a great opportunity for you to gain traffic when you don't have organic SEO pushing you to the top. But let's face it, it's 2019. People are smart these days. They know that when they search something, the first 4 things they're going to see is an ad, if there's enough people advertising against that search phrase, and they know that the organic rankings are below that. So be a little bit careful with thinking like, I'm just going to run an ad and I don't have to worry about SEO. It is going to be more cost effective. You're going to be looking at anywhere, depending on the competition level, it could be 90 cents a click, or it could be $90 a click. But for the most part, for most small businesses, you're going to probably be in the couple dollar range per click. Now with Google AdWords, there's 2 ways to break it down. You've got the search, when people are searching, and then you've got display, which is when you look at retargeting. Somebody comes to your site and then you pull their cookie and you get their IP address. When they go to any other site, if you're doing retargeting, they're going to see your ad. It's kind of like when you're going to buy a pair of shoes or something off of Amazon, you don't purchase it, or any website. If they're doing retargeting against you, you go to other websites, and all of a sudden while you're scrolling through, you see what you were just looking at buying or thinking about buying. That is retargeting. That's not necessarily people listening to you or things like that. That's just the company's like, you come to my site, I want to retarget you elsewhere. So that could be effective for your small business, depending on what it is that your product or service is. So that's Google AdWords. It's going to be cost effective, but you have to be very careful with it. When you look at the social side, with Facebook, if we're talking B2B, Facebook can be extremely effective, and it's very cost effective and cheap when it comes to B2B advertising and B2C, because you're getting down to, if it's a click campaign, you're sub $2, you're sub $1. If you're doing video views, you can get less than 2 cents per video view. So you have to think about, what are you trying to sell in your product and your service, and how are you going to deliver that content? Video is going to be the most engaging, it's going to work the best, it's going to cost you the least amount, but maybe depending on the video that you have or the service that you're trying to offer or product, it's not going to get the most engagement. So you really got to think about creative, but Facebook is by far the most underpriced, cheapest way to get attention, and you just got to focus on quality. When you start to build out your target demographic on a Facebook or an Instagram ad campaign, you're looking at, it's a behavioral based marketing. You're not going to be as effective if you're trying to focus on owners and CEOs and people with titles, because think about the person that you're going after. They don't typically have their title updated on their own Facebook profile. So you're looking at the behavior behind why, or the behavior behind when they're using the platform. What are they doing? What type of interests do they have? Pages do they like? What type of things do they click onto? Facebook's compiling and storing all that data to allow you, the advertiser, to advertise against it. So you can say they've got these business interests, they've got these geographic location, they typically click through, they watch videos, and you're trying to target them based on their behavior and less about their profile. Now on the LinkedIn side, it's nothing about behavior, it's everything about profile. So if you have a B2B service that is more expensive, then LinkedIn is going to be more effective, because you can say, I want to go after this job function, this title, this geographic location in this industry, or you can upload a list of companies and say, I only want to show it to these companies. But there's a price point behind that. Because LinkedIn has the data, you're looking at anywhere to get at the top of the feed, you're going to be between $5, $6 at the absolute cheapest, but most of the time it's a little bit more than that, up to maybe $15 to $18 per click. So you're looking at something that is essentially 5 to 10 times more expensive than Facebook, but it is way more targeted because you're going on a profile, not behavior. And if your product or service can afford that type of client acquisition cost, then it's great. It's the most amazing thing ever. But if you can't, if you're selling a $500 a month service, do not go down that path, because most likely you're going to be spending too much money for the client acquisition cost than what your product or service can afford. So you have to really think about that first and understand that LinkedIn's more expensive, it can be more strategic. There's two basic ways to do it. You're either doing a sponsored post or you're doing a sponsored in-mail. So you're gonna put an image or a graphic within their feed while they're scrolling, or you're gonna send cold emails, which is the sponsored in-mails. And that's just like cold email marketing, but it's way more effective because LinkedIn is controlling who it goes to based on your target demographic, and it's delivering it to them as they log in or within the historical times that they log in throughout the day or throughout the week. It's going to then deliver it to them right after that or while they're logged in. So delivery rate's 100%, open rate's going to be super high, click rate's going to be good, but you have to make sure that you're strategic with it. You're not going to be spending $1,000 a month to get 2 clients if those 2 clients are only worth $1,000. That's just ridiculous. So if you're expensive, go on LinkedIn. If you're cheaper B2B, and especially if you're B2C, Facebook and Instagram is really the place that you need to be with that. So hopefully that gave you a good general overview of where you need to start. Now in the future, we're going to be making videos specifically to LinkedIn advertising for B2B, and then Facebook and Instagram advertising for B2B and B2C. Be sure that you subscribe to the channel so that way you get notified and you can see this in your feed. So if you like this content, hit that like button. If you have questions that you want me to go deeper in, leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.